Welcome, class. Please put everything away and take out your number 2 pencil because we will now commence with your standardized test. These are the words spoken by your teacher before the tests are about to begin. We've all heard this phrase at one point of our lives. I am here to have a formal discussion with my fellow group members about the legitimacy of standardized tests and whether they determine the student and the school's well-being. We can discuss this topic with great credibility because we've been through standardized testing process and have recent sources researched carefully. This doesn't apply to just us, however. It's also something you should pay attention to as well, since it establishes the reasoning to why you're in this university. The speakers for today are Ziona Sober and Jonathan Rojas. I, Jensen Aquino, in the other hand, represent the mediator who will facilitate this whole process of the speech. Today, Ziona will be challenging standardized test usefulness, while Jonathan will be arguing that they are an accurate way to measure students and the school's abilities.
Standardized testing is an outdated method of assessing students' learning abilities and teaches them the wrong materials that are harmful to their future. Standardized testing teaches kids that they should memorize rather than learn the material they're being taught in school. According to the article, high standard test scores doesn't translate to better cognition, reported by U.S. News. Standardized testing teaches students to focus on temporary memorization and doesn't prepare them for college or university. Also, standardized tests at the end of the year should not measure an entire student's progress throughout the year. It doesn't make sense. Think about it. You're sitting at a test and it's just one question that determines what math you've learned for the entire year. It makes no sense. Diane Ravik, one of the most respected educational historians in the world, wrote in her blog, "Because we are teaching children, every question has 4 possible answers, one of which is right. We're teaching kids to hold in their skills and teaching them that there is only one way of doing things, which isn't true. Every child is unique, and they should be treated that way." I'm going to turn this chair over to.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thank you. Now, my response to that is, standardized testing is definitely not outdated. There are a variety of uses for these assessments that are still relevant to the classroom today, as well as the educational process today. In terms of the idea that standardized tests simply encourage memorization rather than actually learning and applying information, these assessments are not meant for teaching purposes. The point is to measure the scholastic ability of the student, the district, etc. It is through this that the state is able to take a look at different schools and grade levels and determine where assistance is needed. As well as it allows students the ability to learn how to critically think about the information that they should know. These assessments are much more than an exam to pass students. It's to make sure that students are being exposed to the information that they need to be exposed to, and to ensure that those that are struggling can be identified and given help. Some may even go as far as to say that self-reporting is a more efficient way of seeing results. However, minority students often underestimate their ability, and thus they become a barrier for themselves academically by having low expectations. Standardized tests can be used to combat this by showing all students what their academic abilities actually are. These assessments also put the student in a position where they have to work hard in order to garner the necessary results in order to pass and to be successful.
Ziona, go ahead, please.
You make some very good points. However, there are more accurate and beneficial ways of testing children's abilities in schools than through standardized testing. The book, Why Our Schools Are More Obsessed with Standardized Tests But Do Not Have to Be, by Anna Kermitz, outlines better ways to track students' progress than through one test at the end of the year. One way is to monitor tests through computer programs. Every book these days, every book has a computer program attached to it, and students could record their answers on the computer throughout the year. Also, you said about minority students that they usually underestimate their abilities. However, I believe that standardized tests actually are harmful to students with disabilities or with hard backgrounds or who aren't English speaking. It's not fair that they have to be graded based on a test that they're not really prepared to take or aren't at the same level.
Go ahead.
Well, by using these assessments, students as well as their teachers are able to see where it is exactly that they are academically. So I say all of this to say, with this knowledge, they can proceed to work on the subjects that students are having more trouble with. In Galvin Brown's article, The Benefits of Standardized Assessment in Childhood Education, he says that self-academic reporting is an effective way to gauge a student's understanding in their studies. Some students are able to accurately estimate their academic performance. However, this is not the case for all students. Minority.
No.